Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Delina Tepesikwa, also known as Derina Retoucher. I am a digital retoucher based in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. What I'm going to show you today, to teach you today, is the breakdown of dodge and burn process from my previous tutorials. And we'll be starting with healing process. Yeah, I love to call it that. So what is healing process? Healing process, well, most retouchers love to call it clean up process, where you basically, or it requires you to clean up your image and remove all distractions available before jumping to another step. And on this process, my favorite tools that I love to use are healing brush tool and clone stamp tool. And today I'll be showing you those tools and teach you what I know about them. So let's get started, and if you are new, don't forget to subscribe. Yeah, so the first thing on this process is to create a new layer, and usually it's always an empty layer. Why I love to use an empty layer, it's because whenever I'm making a mistake or I feel like I want to undo something, I will just erase it. And when you already create this new layer and you select, we will start with healing brush tool. So select your healing brush tool. When you select your healing brush tool, make sure on this bar, it's called option bar. Right here on this box, make sure you sample current and below. Why this? Because since this it's an empty layer, since this is an empty layer, you have to make sure it samples on the image down below. Yeah, it's an empty layer, you can sample anywhere. So make sure right here it's current and below. And what an healing brush tool does, well, it's a little different. You can say that healing brush tool and clone stamp tool, they both work the same way, but no. So I'm going to show you what healing brush tool does. And make sure you have a softer blush. Okay, yeah, basically what healing brush tool does, it takes or sample the textures from the area it sample the texture and blend it with the color on the area you want to replace. Okay, so that's what it does. Let me show you what healing brush tool does. Okay, so right here, and just sample. And make sure you sample on the nearest area possible, since it involves texture and since it involves blending texture and color. So I cannot sample here, and how you sample it's you hold Alt and click. So I cannot sample right here and come and press over here. It will not work. There will be some discoloration, so it's something you have to be careful with. Okay, let me show you. Right, I feel like I didn't. Okay, so for example, I sampled here, hold my Alt and click. I cannot, you see. Oh, sorry, you just sample right here. You see how discoloration and texture it can be. So you have to sample on the nearest area possible. Okay, so let's remove this with healing brush tool. Okay, our model, thanks to a photographer who shot this, is Clemens Elia, and our model is Lillian. Okay, so, and I usually love to use healing brush tool on skin. I find it easier and it's not that destructive compare with clone stamp tool. Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Actually, I'm just taking advantage since it's sample texture and blending on the color where I want to replace it. That's why I think that's why I'm going so fast. I'm already used to it. Okay. There's these lines, and on this kind of lines on the neck area, for me usually clone stamp tool doesn't work. I know it works to others, so I'm going to show you how I remove it. So most of the time I'll move it with an healing brush tool or a patch tool. Okay. 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 Let's see before and after. That's before and after. And that's how you clean up your image using an healing brush tool. So when it comes to clone stamp tools, well, it's a little different how it samples compare with healing brush tool. And what clone stamp tool does, it's usually direct, it's a direct copy and paste. Okay, no exception, no texture, or it doesn't have, you do not have to blend in colors and texture. It's just directly copies the area you sample and paste it on the area you want to replace. And let me show you right here how you clone. It's you hold Alt and you click. That's how you clone. And I'm going to show you where I usually love to use clone stamp tool, and since it's direct copy and paste, I don't like it to use on the skin. Okay, so most of the time I use clone stamp tool on the edgy area, like on the eyes right here, or on the eyebrows. This eyebrow, yeah, eyebrows, like right. Oh, sorry, you see how strong it can be. Okay, see the difference. It could have been much harder if I used healing brush tool, since it's copied the texture and blends in with the color. Okay, so yeah, like on these edge areas, that's where I use clone stamp tool. So basically I love to use on eyes, when it's come to editing eyes on the edges, I love to use clone stamp tool, and it's my favorite. Okay, so right here, this is what I usually do. Yeah, right here, another area that I'll be showing you clone stamp tool. I guess that's it. Now you know the difference between clone stamp tool and healing brush tool. Let me review it. It's what healing brush tool does. They both do clean the image, but the difference is that on healing brush tools, what healing brush tool does, it takes the texture, or it sample the texture and blends it in on the area, and it blends in with the color of the area you want to replace. While clone stamp tool, it's just direct copy and paste on the area you desire. That's the difference. And that's our first process on the journey to achieve a good result using Dodge and Burn. If you want to learn more, make sure you subscribe. I'll be posting every week. I'll be posting every step in every week. I think the next step after cleaning up, it's just subscribe and you see, and make sure you click that bell to get that notification on the next tutorial. Till next time, bye bye.